Welcome back to the channel. Derek Van Shake here. This is what happened. Canada Prime Minister Justin Trudeau branded himself as the biggest supporter of the Me Too movement. Time's Up, the Women's March, all of that. Also, someone who's extremely strict when it comes to anything of sexual harassment. If even just one thing came out about one of the government officials, fellow politician, he would automatically initiate an independent investigation on the matter. If any sexual misconduct was found, he would push them out of office. He had the most strict standards when it came to sexual misconduct for other people. When he was much younger in the year 2000, he was 28 years old. A national newspaper article was written about him, specifically detailing his sexual misconduct toward a young reporter of that newspaper. What we're going to do now is analyze Justin Trudeau's body language to determine if Justin Trudeau is in fact lying about this incident that happened back in 2000. Let's get started. This first clip is from July 2nd when he was first asked about his sexual misconduct.
I remember that day in Creston well. It was a foundation, Avalanche Foundation event to support avalanche safety. I had a good day that day. I don't remember any negative interactions that day at all.
This is a very brief and rehearsed response. The only thing that we see a little interesting here is his little smug smile. It's a smile that basically says, I know something, and I'm going to keep my mouth shut. However, this part is quite a bit of a lie. In the next press conference that we're going to look at, Trudeau admits that there was an incident. Here, he denies there was any incident at all. So let's move on to the main press conference that he had, which he reveals a lot more.
I am confident that I did not act inappropriately.
I'm going to rewind this so we can look at it in more detail.
I am confident that
When Trudeau says he feels that he's confident, he shakes his head no, indicating that he's not. Also, look, he gives a shoulder shrug and a possibly look when he talks about whether his actions were inappropriate.
did not act inappropriately.
Clearly, he's not very confident that he was not acting inappropriately. In body language, what we call this is incongruency. What he's saying is not in line with his body language, is not in line with his facial expressions, is not in line with his tonality. In spur-of-the-moment discussions, people don't have control over their body. They have much more control over the words that come out of their mouth. They can lie with the words that come out of their mouth, but their body language will be honest.
Prime Minister, the question was, why not call an independent investigation if there are...
Did you see Trudeau's nervous twitches when independent investigation was mentioned? Also notice how glassy his eyes are due to his nervousness.
...questions, and she says that, that you apologized to her.
Again, I've been reflecting on the actual interaction, and I was fairly confident. I was very confident.
Did you catch that part? We're going to finish up this clip for a few more seconds, and then we're going to go and analyze that part.
That I hadn't acted in a way that I felt was in any way inappropriate. I was fairly confident.
Trudeau said he's fairly confident, and if you notice how he said confident with a laugh. I want all of you to try this one. Say the word confident, but give a laugh. How confident is that? Also, how would you feel if this was said to you? I'm confident in you. How sincere is that? It's not sincere. And then he realizes his blunder and then corrects himself. Listen to what he says and how he says it now.
I was very confident.
He goes from, I was fairly confident, to, I was very confident. You see the difference? He immediately recognized that blunder. The first time he said it was his true feelings, where he was not confident. And he, in fact, had acted inappropriately. Well, the way he was probably thinking about it when he said that was, I'm not going to be 100% honest. I'm going to just try to toe that line. Stand on the line, but not cross it on one side or the other. Cross it too much on one side, and they can prove that you're a liar. Cross it too much on the other side, and you'll be run out of office as being a hypocrite for sexual misconduct. During the entire press conference, it was obvious that he was struggling to find that line and then walk on that line, all the while trying to seem convincing, which is impossible to do. The next interview we're going to look at is very interesting. It was actually filmed on January 30th of 2018. Trudeau explains why he feels like he will never be accused of sexual misconduct. Check this out.
Trudeau insists one name you won't see on that list is his.
As you look back at your own career, is there a chance at some point that your actions might have not been construed the way they were intended?
We're first going to watch Trudeau's entire response, and then we're going to go and dissect it. So watch it carefully now.
I don't think so. I've been very, very careful all my life to be thoughtful and to be respectful of people's space.
Did you catch anything? Let's rewind and take a closer look.
I don't think so.
Okay, first thing here. He says, I don't think so, and he gives a head shake. That's actually very congruent. He says no, and he shakes his head no. I don't think so. Also, be aware of his eye contact during his whole entire response. Look where he's looking. He's not looking at the interviewer in the interviewer's eyes. He's looking away.
I've been very, very careful all my life.
Now he gives an affirmative. I've been careful all my life. But he's mostly shaking his head, which implies that he's lying. But you also see a little bit of a head nod, which likely indicates maybe more recently he has been more careful. But maybe many years ago, he wasn't so careful.
To be.
He's gulping very, very nervously. What's probably happening right now is he's having flashbacks of things that he has done in his past that were inappropriate to women, which is making him scared and nervous for the possibility of him getting caught in this lie.
Thoughtful and to be respectful of people's space.
And he finishes up with mostly a head shake that no. But there is a little bit of a head nod in there, which actually shows there is some truth that he is considerate of people's space. So maybe now he's considerate of people's space, but 20, 30 years ago, maybe not so much. Based on body language, it does appear that Justin Trudeau was not being 100% truthful at all. It does appear that at the time he did know what he was doing was inappropriate. Also, it does appear that there are more sexual misconduct allegations out there. The way I kind of think about it is this. Justin Trudeau went as far as groping a newspaper reporter, someone who has the ability to make that kind of story widely known. Because if that's his personality, then I'm sure in more private settings, he may have done even worse. Do you think there are more sexual misconduct offenses out there on Justin Trudeau? Let me know. Put that in the comments below. Now, if you get triggered by Justin Trudeau's pure hypocrisy involving sexual misconduct, turn this video off right now and go watch one of my other videos. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you at the top.
Here's the really big one. Me Too. Time's Up. The Women's March. These movements tell us that we need to have a critical discussion on women's rights, equality, and the power dynamics of gender. Sexual harassment, for example, in business and in government, is a systemic problem, and it is unacceptable. As leaders, we need to recognize and to act to show that truly time is up. And when we receive those complaints, we must take them seriously. It is our responsibility to listen and, more importantly, to believe. The standard applies to everyone. There is no context in which someone doesn't have responsibility for things they've done in the past.